Student will take up to the next topic from the 7th paper, that is origin of angiosperms. Angiosperms are thought to be our most evolved plant groups because they are adapted to the all forms of conditions, and therefore we have to find out the origin of angiosperms. There is a much debate going on about the possible ancestors of the angiosperms. This is because there are no fossil records which can tell us that this is the immediate or close ancestor of the angiosperm from which the angiosperms have got evolved. So this fossil record is altogether missing. So therefore many workers have given the possible ancestors of the angiosperms, and many theories are being put forth about these particular ancestors. We'll take up a few of these theories today. So the first theory is Bennetettels-Rannells theory. Now we must understand these two words, Bennetettels and Rannells. Bennetettels is an extinct group of angiosperms, or this is the order which is present in the spermatophyta, which consists of only extinct group of gymnosperms, and these particular Bennetettels are compared with the Rannells. Now Rannellian theory states that the dicots or the magnolia flower like plants are primitive one, and therefore here the magnolia is considered to be the most primitive among the angiosperms. Magnolia in Marathi it is called the chafa. It is quite abundant in the western Ghat of Maharashtra. These are not present, or these are very rarely present in the Marathwada region. This particular magnolia plant is tree-like plant, and it is having very beautiful flowers. As you can see here in this second picture, it is having the very beautiful flower, and it is having some unique features which connotes it, or which is connecting it with the primitiveness. So this particular flower, here we are having the more bigger picture of this particular flower. You can see there are no differentiation of the calyx and corolla, therefore it is called as the tepals. So this is the perianth, and there are so many tepals, or the number of tepals are not limited. Then there are stamens. We can see a reddish colored one, stamens, and then yellow colored one, carpels. So these are arranged on the conical thalamus, and therefore these are we can say that they are coming out of the flower. So being having the conical thalamus, and there are numerous carpels and the stamens which are arranged on the conical thalamus, and these are free. That means there is a apocarpous condition and polyandrous condition, that is a free stamens and the free carpels are there, and therefore this is primitive nature of the angiosperm. Now this particular flower is compared by the Saporta and the Marian with that of the Bennetettels. So the representative of this Bennettettel is Sycarioidea. So you can see here the Sycarioidea. How is the flower of it? So the flower of it is similar to the Bennetettels. The flower of it is quite similar to the magnolia. So here this particular flower is having many stamens, like the stamen-like structures, and or the carpel-like structures, and in between them there are sterile appendages or sterile branches, and it is quite similar to that of the magnolia, and therefore they have stated that Cycadioidea is the ancestor of the Magnolia, or the Benthetels are the ancestors of the Magnolia, and therefore this theory is having some popularity among the workers. But many workers have discarded this theory. So what are the drawbacks of this theory? We'll take up this drawback. Now the first drawback is the microsporophylls of the Magnolia are free and spirally arranged on the axis, but in Benthetels they are arranged in the whirl manner. So that is the first drawback of this theory. That is, in Benthetels they are arranged in the whirl manner, in the circular manner, while in case of the Magnolia they are arranged in the spirally manner, and therefore it cannot be compared with that of the Magnolia. Then another most important drawback is that between the megasporophylls there are sterile scales which appear to be sterilized megasporophylls, but there is no structure in case of Magnolia. So we do not find any sterile carpels or the sterile stamens, and therefore this particular theory do not hold the ground, and therefore this theory is disregarded, or this is discarded by the many workers. Next we take up to the theory, that is coniferous amentiferous theory. We must understand the first two words, that is the coniferous. Coniferous, it consists of the conifers. Conifer means the plants which are having the cone-like appearance, ice cream cone-like, inverted ice cream cone-like appearance. So we must take into consideration, or we must imagine, that is the Christmas tree. So Christmas tree is having a unique feature, or the peculiar feature, it is having the cone-like structure. So the coniferals are said to be the possible ancestors of the angiosperms, and with which they are compared, that is the Casuarina-like plant. So the members of the family Casuarinaceae and Salicaceae, etc., they are having such structure. So if you see here, I am just maximizing the image. Now if you see the Casuarina fruit, it is actually, but here the flower is also like this, and here the flower, many flowers are there which are arranged on axis, common axis. So it is a ament. Such kind of the inflorescence is called as ament, and therefore the members of this particular group, they are called as, or these are grouped in under the amentiferous order, and therefore these are compared with that of the conifers, which are having the such kind of the flower like structure, or the cones. So you can see here Picea cone, which is having the reddish color. Actually it is the female cone, but in case of the agathis we will find that it is a bisexual cone. So this bisexual cone of the agathis, it is quite comparable with the Casuarina. Now this Casuarina in Marathi, it is called as suru. It is quite common in the gardens, and it is a deciduous plant, or it is a sort of a desert plant. So you can see here the leaves are also quite similar with that of the conifers. They are needle-like or acicular-like, but actually these are not the leaves of this plant. These are actually branches of the stem, which have adapted to the desert condition and which are behaving as the leaves, and therefore here they are also compared with that of the particularly conifers. So therefore here the particularly this catkin inflorescence in case of the amentifers, it is quite similar to the agathis or the Picea or the conifers, and therefore here it is considered as the possible ancestors of the angiosperms. Now this theory is again disregarded or discarded on the basis of the following things. So first drawback of this theory is that the so-called simple flowers of the Amentifers are not primitive, but they have reduced in the course of evolution because the flowers are very small in case of the Amentifers, and therefore this reduction in the size is because of the evolution. It is not a primitive nature of the particular Amentifers. Again, the xylem element of the conifers are more evolved than the primitive angiosperms. Conifers are no doubt they are not having the vessels, but they are having the more evolved nature than the primitive angiosperms, and therefore they cannot be considered to be the possible ancestors of the angiosperms. Moreover, carpel of the angiosperms have evolved from the leaf-like structure. It is well-known fact that the carpels have evolved from the leaf-like structure. We will take up this particular in the evolution of the angiosperms. But you must consider now only that the leaves of the primitive angiosperms, the carpels of the primitive angiosperm is evolved from the leaf-like structures, and therefore here the conifers cannot be considered as the ancestors of the angiosperm because the seed-bearing scales of the conifer, they have modified phylum. They are nothing but the stems. They are modified stem branches, and therefore it cannot be considered to be the possible ancestors of angiosperms. Next we have Nettles angiosperm theory. This theory was put forth by Richard von Wettstein in 1901. This theory tells that the present-day nettle plants are the possible ancestors of the angiosperms. So what is the basis of this theory? First basis is that unlike the gymnosperms, they have vessels in the secondary ovule. So there are ovules which are having the vessels, and that too there are two integuments inside the ovule, which is also a unique feature of the nettles. Moreover, the netum is unique in a very sense that it is having the expanded leaf and the reticulate venation. So no other gymnosperm is having the expanded leaf as like the dicots. So I am just maximizing the image. You can see here there are leaves which are having the expanded nature, and here the bisexual strobulus of the netum, which can be compared with that of the catkin inflorescence of the Casuarina. Again, it is compared with the Casuarina here, Amentifers. So it is compared with that of the Casuarina or the Amentifers, and therefore this theory holds that it is the nettles or the members of the nettles which are possible ancestors of the angiosperms. So this theory is also discarded by many workers. So what are the grounds on which it is discarded? The first ground is that the member of the nettles have more advanced characteristics than the primitive angiosperms. For example, the vessels of the nettles. So the primitive angiosperms do not have the vessels. It is well known and well accepted fact. While the Thompson in 1918 showed that vessels of the nettles originated in an entirely different way. So we'll take up that evolution in the evolution section, how the ovules have got evolved in case of the angiosperms. So that is also a drawback of this particular theory, and therefore vessels of the nettles are originated in the entirely different way than that of the angiosperms. Now, the similarity between the nettles strobulus and the flowers of the primitive angiosperm is superficial due to the convergent evolution, because here convergent evolution means the two different plants, they are having the similar lineage or similar kind of steps in the evolution, and the ultimate step or the today's step is that they are having the similarity. So it is a convergent, they are meeting at the point during the evolution. Therefore they are considered to be the possible ancestors in a mistaken way, and therefore this particular theory is disregarded or discarded on the basis of these particular drawbacks. Next, we take up the Chitonian theory. Now, first we must understand what is the Chitonian. So, Chitonians are again the more gymnosperm than the pterodosperms. They are more having the affinity towards the gymnosperm than the pterodosperms. They were habituated on this earth during the Triassic period of the Mesozoic era. That is, they have originated about 250 millions of years ago, and they have become extinct around 70 millions years ago, and that is during the Cretaceous period of the Mesozoic era, and therefore this is also extinct group of the gymnosperm. So this is the particularly stobulus of one of the member of the Chitonian. So this Chitonials, they are having the such kind of stobulus. I am maximizing it. So this is the stobulus of this Chitonia. Now this Chitonial stobulus is nothing but the female stobulus. So this entire structure, this particularly this entire structure, globular structure, it is said to be the cupule. It is called as cupule. So how this cupule look alike? I am moving to the next slide. So one cupule is having many ovules. You can see here 4 ovules in a one cupule. It is a bunch of the ovule. It is therefore it is called as cupule. And in that you will find one micropyle is there, which is reaching to the only one of the ovule. So one of the ovule is getting fertilized. We can see that. So here such structure is quite comparable with the today's ovule, and therefore these are said to be the possible ancestors of the angiosperm. Moreover, it is compared with the Ricinus in a many other way, that here Ricinus is having the branched stamens. We can see here the red ones here at the top of this particular Cyathem inflorescence. Red ones are nothing but branched stamens. Now these branched stamens are compared with that of the the Chitonia stamens. Here we can see the branch of it. Again, it is fossilized one, and you can see that the branch stamens I have drawn here from the book, and therefore it is quite comparable with the today's Ricinus plant, or we call it this Ricinus as Erenda in Marathi. So it is quite comparable with the Ricinus plant, and therefore here these are said to be the possible ancestors of the angiosperms. Now this theory is again disregarded by many workers because of the following reasons. Here further studies have shown that Chitonians have more affinity towards the pterodosperms, and there is a unanimity among the workers that the primitive ovule cannot be considered to be like that of the cupules, and therefore this theory is disregarded or discarded. According to this particular view, primitive angiosperm must have an open megasporophyll with exposed ovules. So therefore there is a unanimity among the workers that primitive angiosperms must have the flower having the open kind of megasporophylls and the exposed ovules, and therefore ovule like pouches of the Chitonia cannot be considered as forerunner of the angiosperm carpel, and therefore this theory is disregarded or discarded by the workers. Now we will take up the last theory, that is pterodosperm angiosperm theory. This theory was put forth by Hofmeister in 1862, and again this theory was supported by the Benson in 1904. What this theory tells? This theory tells us that the pterodosperms, if you split the word pterodos, it means the terrestrial, or the sperm means the seed, or the seed fern, simply the seed ferns which are having the seed. So such plants are called as pterodosperms. There were fern like plants which are having the seeds. So these particular one of the representative of it is the Glossopteris. So this Glossopteris stabilis is there. It is quite comparable with the present day plant, that is Dicapetalum. So I am just maximizing it. So Dicapetalum is having such kind of the stabilis, which is quite this particular flower. It is quite comparable with the particular flower of the Pteridosperms. And most important is that Pteridosperms do not have the vessels. So the well-known fact that the primitive angiosperm should not have the vessels. So it is quite acceptable that this particular Pteridosperms are not having the vessels, and therefore they are considered to be the possible ancestors of this particular angiosperm group. And therefore this theory is quite holding its ground, and it is quite acceptable by many workers. So this theory is not discarded by the workers, but it is accepted by many workers, and therefore I am not stating here the drawbacks of this particular theory. So I hope you understood the entire origin of the angiosperm. The diagrams will not come in the examination. We have to just remember the drawbacks and the postulates of the theory and who proposed it, because in the question paper we may have the MCQ type questions which may state or ask about the who proposed the theory. So therefore you have to remember these two factors, and I hope you have understood the possible ancestors of the angiosperm theories, and we stop this particular session today. Thank you.